Oh, I saw my Burger King crown. Hold on.
Hey,
Oh dear.
again, the cat can't do this without that.
All right, yeah, I'll keep it then. That's fine. Okay. This music is going to distract me. We're gonna cut that off. Anyways, we have a Mr. Jigz the VTuber here today. He is a very prominent in most circles. Uh, he is a black male VTuber, which is, of course,
Damn.
uh, the most common, obviously, VTuber
Of
type.
course.
So, and you're a plague doctor too. That's actually bonus points. I love plague doctors.
Thank you. One of the reasons I picked it, I thought it was sick.
Yeah, I like it. Sick colors, purple. You got them. You got them things on. You got them nice sneakers. I like that.
Right. It's funny because that wasn't even like originally a part of the getup. It was supposed to be nice black leather boots. For some reason, it gave me some high top kicks, and I just haven't changed it.
Was it through like AI or an artist or what?
Well, at first, the artist only drew down to like his knees,
Oh
and then I was
yeah.
like, "Yeah, I wanted to contact him," and I was like, "Okay, well, let me
Yeah,
get one
I
picture
got I
of
got feet
this."
actually. I need those included. Yeah.
Yeah, like I need the feet, and he was like, "Okay, I got you." And then all of a sudden, he just vanished from the place I found him, and I couldn't get in contact with him anywhere.
Oh
So then I was
yeah.
just like, "Oh, all
Many
right,
such
fine."
cases.
Yeah, I was like, "All right, I'll just slap an AI, give me some feet, brother."
Oh, good lord. Well, he picked some nice ones at least. So
Yeah, right, dude, pretty sick. I'm pretty sick. I like him.
yeah. All right. So I got a little list of like things I'd kind of just wanted to yap about here. However, you're welcome to. I'm sure we'll find stuff to talk about as we keep going here. So
Yeah, yeah.
I have a feeling we're both pretty big yappers here. I go on tangents a lot, so it makes for decent content,
Yeah.
decent conversation.
Very true, very true. I understand the feeling.
None of my shit's organized though, so I know you're in here. Oh no, I put it in notes. That's what I did. Like the Windows 95 notes, like old school.
Oh, dude, I use those for parts of prompts that I want to make.
Oh yeah,
And like if I won't remember it, I'll put it in a note and then I'll just look through my notes. And I have like a ton of notes. And now at this point, I just kind of like take the best parts and then add that to just about every prompt that I do, so they all come out nice.
that's funny. I just pretend like I remember everything, and then it never works out.
I mean, that's how it works. That's how you're supposed to do it. But people don't need to know.
I'll introduce you to Skithy here. He is my best mod and one of my only mods. He too is black. He's also from sort of the east. He's from Iowa. He
That's
lives here. He
crazy.
lives here with me now. I kidnapped him.
Oh, there you go. So he's black too, right?
Yeah, he's blackish. He's
Okay, so
black
how long has
enough.
he been disabled?
As long as I can remember, as long as I've known him. I don't know.
Mm.
You'd have to ask personally, but
Hey, I was about to say since I came out like this, I've been disabled since I was born. Wonder if he bought it somewhere.
his whole life. Yeah, so similar for him.
Mm, understandable.
All right, so I guess before we really get into like topics and stuff, kind of introduce yourself. Let's start with like give me a basic background.
Like me as a person or me as the character?
You as a person. So
Uh, well, well, I don't know if people know my name's Cooper. 30 years old, all that good stuff. I've worked pretty much almost every blue collar job you can think of, moved all around the country, not even for like, military or anything like that. It's just kind of how family circumstances ended up being. So, and then from there, I think after doing a lot of the blue collar stuff, I ended up fucking, and I did that at the best time and kind of the worst time because it was 2020. So everyone was like locked down except for me. I was traveling the country with absolutely no traffic anywhere. So that was really, really nice. But yeah, I was telling you earlier, I've been to 48 states, Canada, and Mexico, and all that good stuff. So I've talked to everyone about everything, everywhere, at any time. It's been great. It's been great. If anyone ever talks about just stuff and things, I always know just a little bit about it simply because, again, been everywhere, done everything.
So you got in right around the COVID time when that we needed drivers and such, and
Literally,
it was considered what do you call it? What did they call it when you could still work? I forgot the
uh,
name of it.
it was like
Essential. You were
necessary.
essential.
Yeah,
Yeah.
essential. Yeah, essential employee. Yeah,
Essential employee. Yeah.
yeah, that thing, that thing. I was like, it was kind of interesting how that happened because I, the only reason I started trucking is because at the time I was kind of like in between jobs, and then I found a job at Domino's, so I was delivering pizza. And a buddy of mine was like, I'm tired of working these terrible jobs. I'm gonna go trucking. And I was like, fair enough. And then he asked, he was like, "Do you want to do it too?" And I was like, "All right." And so I did.
And
What,
then it
like
was
a month?
history.
Yeah, right. Then a month later, I had my own truck and all that good stuff, and I traveled around the country doing what I needed to do.
Right on. So you enjoyed that. Why did you get out of it?
Oh, I had this really stupid idea of like starting a family and having kids, and it was so
Oh,
dumb.
disgusting. No,
Yeah, I know, right?
no, that's good. No, I'm that's very venerable and honorable of you. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people don't get that chance, you know.
It's true. True.
I'll give you a little bit of mine just so you know we're on kind of the same deal. I'm 35. Um, in real life, I actually go by Hans in real life too. That's my real life nickname. Has been for a long time, and I am with child, so I have a 13-year-old daughter, and single parent. Um, so I'm kind of the same deal. I did a lot of blue collar jobs. I used to work for like I don't know if you know Culligan Water, and they deliver like the 5 gallon water jugs and do the water filters for houses and stuff, which was a pretty shit job. Did that, and like
Hmm.
I mentioned before, I worked at truck stops, did maintenance and stuff like that, and currently run a couple like cell phone businesses out of my house, and basically just hermit up in the house and do work. So I figured, hey,
Nice.
that's what VTubers do. I might as well be one of those. So
Right.
yeah, very nice. So cool. All right. Well, I couldn't find my list, so I'm gonna just wing it, which I think I'm pretty okay at. But uh, give me kind of a background on you before I start hitting you with questions. Well, what's your like kind of political views?
Oh, uh, I don't really know how to explain it because it's not like a set in stone type of deal.
Yeah, it
Because
never
like
is.
it was, yeah, like it was at one point where like I was a Democrat, and then it kind of slowly started going the other way.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of like in the center, and at this point, it's like I don't even really want to identify with politics. It's just like who has the better idea.
Yeah.
I don't really care where it's coming from. Just who has the better idea, who's not trying to lie to me, or if they're trying to lie to me, who's going to give me the better sounding, I guess. Which
Yeah.
unfortunately is how it is. I don't want it to be that way, but
I think it's okay to want it that way. I feel like the more I engage with it, the more I notice that, especially on, it's really hard to tell on Twitter until you like get out into the world. But I've noticed it's kind of like an 80-10-10 thing where, you know,
yeah,
each loud side is the 10% of people. And then the quiet 80% is like normal people, you know, and those are the people who think they're weird for, you know, just wanting what they want and it not always sticking to a political party. And I feel like that's like the majority of people, and they don't know that, or they don't realize how big of a block it is that they're in.
yeah. I also feel like part of it is simply because people have been so chastised for not specifically taking a like hard line or hard side that, or if they're like they feel like if they do
Oh
pick a
yeah.
side, like I have to be on this side 100% because if I'm not, then I get like mauled, and it's like, oh, okay,
Well, that's the annoying thing too, right? Is like each side is you're either with us or you're against us, like in entirety, and it's just
yeah,
it's really tiresome. Yeah, I agree.
yeah,
I do feel like you- moderate and then more towards the right. They're a little, you know, they're like, oh, you don't agree with this one thing? Yeah, it's cool, but um, yeah, the left, I don't know. They you know, you disagree with one thing, you're all wrong. So I have noticed that.
yeah. It's weird because the left used to be like that, and then I guess somebody somehow they went a little too far that way, and then everyone that was once, the left is now in the middle all of a sudden.
Well, yeah, I mean, the whole definition of liberal is like open minded and open to new ideas, and the fact that I think what they did is someone went left, and then the next person's like, oh yeah, well I'm going to go a little bit more left, and the next guy's like, oh yeah, well I'm going to go even more left, and I think they just pushed the window so far that they're at the point they're at now. I mean, I think they've gone so far off the board, and that's why we see it so much. They just don't, they can't even, because like each party has like a window from left to right that they can identify with on the scale, but they've pushed theirs so far that they're not even their side of the border doesn't even cover like the moderates. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
think I
a
think that's what
strange
happened.
times we live in.
It is, yes, a very interesting one. So
Yeah. I just wonder how this is all gonna like shake out at the end. Will people kind of like return to normal, or will it be standard for one side to be completely insane and then the other side to be more rational, but also still kind of insane, but like you don't really notice it because the other side is so much worse and they're so much louder.
that's a good question. I don't think it'll ever go back to anything. I think it's just a constant state of um, accelerating into evolution. It's never going to be the same. We're going to have similarities, which we do. You notice we have similarities in um,
Hmm.
stuff that goes on, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think at the same time too, it's kind of like a natural path that like humanity takes anyways, like even through history, like that there's always been evolutions in like political stance and this and that, and anytime it's gone too crazy in one way, it's always popped back the other way, kind of balanced out. So
True.
um I
I
guess
just, I,
that's the white pill take, I mean. I can
I was about to say you seem pretty optimistic about it. You're a lot better than me, but I was like, I don't want to like black pill, but also at the same time, it's just like this has got to end,
yeah, I mean,
or at least the
historically,
craziness just needs to end.
yeah, historically it's been optimistic. So I mean, there's been times where we've had similar craziness going on, and it's always corrected itself over time, just naturally, just the unstoppable human urge to not be retarded.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a,
I hope it's the similarities stop at politics because I was thinking that history doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but it does rhyme,
it
and like I
rhymes,
don't
yeah.
know yeah, it's like I don't know what rhymes with slavery. I don't think I want that to happen. You know what I mean? Like I just don't want that to happen.
Indomitable human spirit, yes. What
Very
rhymes with
true.
slavery? I don't know, probably debt. So
Something I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just crazy, anyways. But I would like to cover because I don't get to talk to people a whole lot about like VTuber drama and stuff. Like even Skithy here, he doesn't really get on Twitter much. I'm usually in his DMs, like, hey, look at this video, and he's like, what the fuck, that's going on, and it's like then I have to explain, like some of the stuff going on, and so it's nice to talk to somebody who's kind of like in it, and kind of get your take on it. But the first thing I'd really want to cover, it's kind of like the elephant in the room for everybody right now because it's still going on, is the whole Deem drama. What's your take on that?
Oh, is it Deem? I thought it was Demi.
I don't, yeah,
Uh,
Demi Deem. I don't give a fuck. She's a stupid bitch. But let's hear your opinion on
I mean, honestly, you said it exactly. I thought it was funny because I was seeing it and I was like, you know what, I don't need to get into this because personally I kind of don't care. But then I
it. Yeah,
kept seeing it and kept seeing it and kept reading more stuff, and then it turns out that Chibi was involved, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll have to look in it because that's my boy Chibi. Like,
right.
let's at least take a look here. And well, it turns out it just doesn't make any sense, and it's another classic case of just some VTuber that's gotten a little too big for the britches being hypocritical yet again. And something I'm going to tell this for all of the viewers, the YouTube frogs that are watching. First off, subscribe. Secondly, I feel like it's interesting because what ends up happening is pretty much the exact same thing happens over and over and over. It's just a different VTuber.
Yeah,
So it's like this. It's not even really worth looking at, but it is kind of funny simply because the one part where she was like, "Hey, I don't like people making not safe for work stuff of me," but then like you go through and see some of her stuff, and it's like this is pretty
Yeah.
spicy stuff you got here, so I
Yeah,
don't know
she
why you
got,
would say
yeah.
that.
Yeah, like she said that, and then someone was like, "Yeah, bullshit." And I was like, "Okay, well, I like seeing for myself, right?" So I go through her profile and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And so, and to be, I mean, I farmed a few posts off her. I had like two pretty good posts off her, and some haters jumping in trying to defend her. I had some like soccer guy last night going wild on me, and so that was pretty funny. But yeah, I don't know. I've noticed it too, and I've followed VTubers for a long time, and not since the beginning, but probably a year or two after they kind of like came to be, or at least they started hitting like the English side. And it's the same thing every time. It's they get to a certain size, they play the nice girl the whole time,
Hmm.
because it's always the females, and then some bad shit happens, and then they're like, "Oh, I have BPD." It's like it's like every single
Yeah.
fucking one of them. And to my own like demise too. I back in the day was friends with a very prominent VTuber, and she had BPD, and like we were good friends for a while, and then we just got in a huge fight over actually the shit going on with Europe right now, because she lives over in Europe, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago. I was trying to tell her about that, and then like all this shit comes out, and it's like, oh, look who was right. But she had me blocked for that long, or we blocked
Hmm.
each other rather. But it was the same deal as BPD. She did pulled the same shit, and then she was just trying to farm people, and I just sit there and be like, wow, that's pretty funny, and eventually it got tiresome. But there's just many such cases, and it's, I don't know if it's because they think that's what they need to be doing because the others have done it and been successful with it, and they're just like, oh, they can do it, so I can do it too, and then they get caught up in it, or if their intentions are good at first and then something happens down the road, or they hit a certain point, or there's like some like cabal or VTuber conspiracy that gets to them. I don't know what it is exactly, but it's really strange to see because it's very pattern forming at this point.
Right.
You know?
Personally, I believe it's both of those things, and
Yeah.
they get to a size where they get too comfortable making the money they're making, whether it be a little or a lot. And it gets to a point where it gets to their head where it's like, well, no matter what I do, my community's here for me. So then they start kind of letting go. They start kind of getting a little bit more, I wouldn't necessarily say crazy, but loose, I suppose.
Well, that's funny you say that because getting crazy and letting loose implies that they're putting on a show and hiding it. And I know a lot of VTubers say, "Oh, well, yeah, they're here to provide a show and stuff," and it's like, well, wouldn't it be better if you were just naturally that way, and then you wouldn't have to hide anything? And
Yeah,
I guess there's no defense for that really that I've ever seen.
no, no. I've noticed it usually also with well, obviously it's a lot of the female VTubers, but I've also noticed that this very same thing happening with the cozy VTubers
Oh
specifically.
yeah, especially, yeah.
Where, yeah, and I don't know what it is because at first, as you were saying, it seems that they were genuine because like they're not making money doing this, you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
And they're fine. And then as soon as they start making money, as soon as they start getting big enough, you know what I mean? As soon as they have a dedicated community, something in their brain goes haywire, and they just start doing stuff, and I don't know why. It's the
they
weirdest thing.
just they just
It's like
start doing
it's
stuff.
yeah, like I don't really know what to call it because like it's like career suicide.
It is, yeah, and it's almost like a switch too. It's not even like they slowly build up to it. It's like it's almost immediate when it happens. It's
Yeah,
really
it's
peculiar.
weird.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, oh, that's cool. I've made this much money and people like me this much. Time to ruin it. And at first, I was thinking because when I first got into VTubing, I guess I was thinking more of like, oh, they're afraid of success. You know what I mean? So they want to knock themselves down a peg subconsciously. Because I've seen that in real life. That would make sense. But the fact, well, I mean, not really. I get it, kind of, but like I don't because I don't have that. So it's like hard for me to empathize with something I just don't understand, no matter how many times it's been explained to me. But this seems to be just a pattern where they all do it all of the time, and then they all blame some sort of mental illness, which is crazy because then the people with that said mental illness come out and it's like, yeah, no, I've never done anything like that. You're just a bitch. It's like, all right.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it kind of makes sense when they explain it that way. Because if you think about it, if they do have like BPD and like all this bullshit wrong with them, like you miss a day of meds, then yeah, you're gonna pop off. But it's like, I mean, just don't miss your meds. If that's the
Yeah.
case, or like apologize and be like, "Hey, I didn't take my meds that day. Sorry, I'm a fucking retard." Like that's like
Which
the
they
hardest thing for them to do, and
Yeah, which
it's
they
amazing.
don't do. Like
No,
I could
no, they double
completely
down.
under it double, triple, quadruple. I
Yeah.
would completely understand where if it was just like, hey, I missed my meds one day. I'm tripping. Like I didn't mean it. Like, I'm genuinely sorry. Like I would get that you missed your. I totally get that. But like they'll go on for weeks, if not months, saying the exact same thing, double, triple,
Well,
quadrupling down, and it's just like
well,
you're
I
just making it worse.
Well, I think they don't think they're making it worse. And here's the thing: it's like
Mm,
I think it's the community they build, and I think it's when they do some bullshit, and they probably ask like simp number three, like, "Hey, was this some fucked up bullshit? Should I apologize for this?" And they're like, "No, Queen, you're good. No, you keep on going." I think it's the mentally ill leading the mentally ill. You know what I mean? I think
yeah,
that's the real problem is these communities they build and they don't realize how fucking retarded people are on the internet. And then they become friends
yeah.
with them. They don't
Hmm.
filter any of this out. I mean, like just alone, like in a similar pattern, the lack of business sense that most VTubers have for actually like performing, their jobs because it is a job. We're here to work. We're here to provide a service, provide entertainment. We're entertainers. We're broadcasters, and the amount that were just like, "Will anybody do clips for me? How do I do this? Can y'all send me this stuff?" And it's like, this isn't a fucking begging sphere. This is a potential career, and you have to fucking work for it. And that pisses me off so much when they do that. And I think that's the
Yeah.
same like sentiment they bring with them because this is a weird industry where something as simple as like one tweet can push you into like the stratosphere. And if it's somebody who does that who isn't ready or like prepared to jump into kind of like a business apparatus, that's when you see the mental derangement shoot down. That's when you see stuff like Deem pop out or Deem or whatever her fucking name is, that fat Asian bitch. So
I have a bit of a hot take about the size of her. I'm not gonna lie to you.
she's quite rotund, isn't she? Yeah, she is.
Yeah, but also like, who cares? Like, honestly, she's not nearly as big as I thought she was. Because everyone was like, "Oh yeah, she's massive." I looked at her, I'm like, not really all that big. Now I understand. I was like, I understand
Now
people have
is that biased because it was a picture from the back?
yes,
I
that's
do
one
what?
hundred percent,
Okay, 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 okay,
100%.
okay. So that is a factor. All right, we need to.
Yeah, that is a bit of
Okay.
there's a bit of factor. But like also like I see like and also and like it's so stereotypical of me since I'm a black man to like bigger women. But like also at
Skithy,
the
is this
same
true? Skithy, is this true?
dude, he knows. He's been black long enough. He knows. I'd be if he says no,
He
I know he's
has
lying and I'm taking his blood type. All right.
he has very particular taste. So we'll say that. So.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. See, for me, I know for a fact I don't care.
He's a real one for saying that. Okay, so he agrees. Okay,
Yes,
so
like,
okay,
it's just how it's a genetic predisposition to
sure,
liking white women, bro. MLK
sure.
didn't die for us to not have sex with white women. That's just
Well,
how it is.
she's Asian, no? I thought she was Korean.
Yeah, yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. They're
They're,
white. Who gives a fuck?
Asians aren't real. They're just white people. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, they're just white people that squint a lot. Who cares? But like, I just find it funny that everyone's just like, oh yeah, now that we know that what she looks like, we're just gonna call her fat. And it's like, I guess that's fine, but like, you don't see me going out of my way to make fun of rail thin bitches, now do you? Like, I
Yeah,
don't
that's
care.
fair. No, I agree. I think I don't think I even ragged on her that hard about that. Like my recent post I did about it. So I'll show you kind of my opinion on it. Is damn, I posted. Oh, here we go. So this is how I responded to it. Right? Is what we've come to learn is no matter how much weight you lose or nice of clothes you wear, your personality will always be a nasty fat retard. So,
Oh,
and
that is so valid.
that's yeah, and that's the way I see it. Is like, yeah, she's fat, whatever. But she even said like a, a post the other day that she's working out and losing weight. I think that's really good. I think everybody should like strive to better themselves and try to live longer.
I mean,
But
fair.
but at the end of the day, it's like yeah, if you're if you're just a nasty bitch, no amount of working out's really going to change that unless like drop a weight on your larynx or something. You ain't talking no more. You'd be less of a bitch. But
True,
um,
true.
I, I just wish there was like a gym for working on your personality. That would be very helpful for I think a lot of people. If someone invented that, they'd have Elon Musk money. I think.
Very true, very true. Now, again, another hot take. I'm not saying that you don't, if you are fat, because I'm a big dude myself, and I've been working on it for a while now, right?
Yeah,
Now, I'm not saying not to do that by all means, but what I am saying is, as someone who likes, then again, it's not like I would only go after bigger women. It doesn't really matter.
yeah.
But as someone who does like bigger women,
It
I mean,
activates the
hey man, if
almonds.
if you
Yeah, I
go,
get it.
yeah, it's like if you go stay that size, I mean, whatever. Just know for a fact you're gonna get bigger with the amount of children I'm putting in you. We're making a soccer team, whether you like it or not.
That's fair. That's the male fantasy they always preach about. The feminist women, the virgins, the real
Yeah,
incels.
yeah, they're
Uh,
weird.
they are weird.
There's some real weird people out there. Yeah, whatever.
All right, I was
Crazy.
gonna ask you about the what did Skithy say here? Goddamn, ain't never heard so much real shit in one go. Yeah, I mean, it's what happens. This is what happens when two fine gentlemen, talk about some real shit.
I
And
bet. Don't Skippy. Don't let him lie to you. That I'm a professional retard. I just happen I just happen to be someone with common sense.
many such cases, I think you're in good company with that. I was gonna ask you about the rigor drama. I don't know if you were, because I know you asked. I know I mentioned it and you asked about it, so I wasn't sure if you were like around for that when it happened.
I was around, but I was kind of dealing with something with another group of people. And at the end of it, I kind of just ended up walking away anyway because it was like this just isn't worth it. And it's crazy because like the drama that I was going through wasn't even anything that had to do with me. And just since I was a
Yeah,
prominent part of the group, people were like, well,
yeah,
"What's your input?" My input was literally, "I don't care." It's not really all that helpful.
yeah. I feel that completely. I personally like. I'm more or less affected by it, but that doesn't really uh change anything for me because the people I work with my model and stuff, like um they're really cool. So like I don't have an issue. So but I think it's not really that big of a deal and not important to really talk about the whole rigging thing. I think it's more important to talk about. Oh, I just had a hiccup as well. My bad. Okay, sorry. No, anyways, it's not as important to me to really care about like the whole rigging thing and to focus on that. I think it's more important to focus on the fact that the artists and the people on VGen are like kind of like the cause of every single drama we have. And I'm wondering when they're just going to get actually checked. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we have such a huge community of artists, and like 60% of them are just bad actors. And I feel like every time we have a problem with this, those bad actors come out and just cause all the problems and the drama. And
True.
I guess that's what annoys me the most.
I feel like
Because
if something like I'm sorry, go on.
oh no, you're good. Go ahead.
Well, I feel like if something like that is going to get checked, it would have to be less of a check and more of an abandonment, especially just of
Oh
VGen,
yeah,
because I've also had that issue. And what I would do, and what I did for a majority of the first stuff for my VTuber that when I started out, was I went to Fiverr. I just went to Fiverr,
yeah,
and in Fiverr, it's one of those sites where it's like if you're not professional or you don't provide the service, VGen will cover you to a certain extent for
right.
what exactly happened, and then you can post a review about it, and then you can also post a private review as well. So then that keeps people in check real quick. And now I've used VGen before, but usually for VGen, if I get something from somebody, it's somebody that I already know and I've been talking to, and I just want to support them. So I highly doubt I'd go out of my way to go find someone on VGen that I don't know, but I'd much rather go to Fiverr and do it because I've done that before with literally zero issues.
And the funny thing about Fiverr too is like whenever you talk to like a VGen artist or someone who is obviously a bad actor, they shit on it. They're like, oh, don't go to Fiverr.
Oh,
That's where all the racists and scammers are. And it's like, is it though? Why is it still there then? Why are people still using it?
you want to know what's crazy too? There, I can't tell you how many clips I've seen of bigger VTubers that are like, "Oh yeah, I don't like the art that I got, so I didn't post it." And then that person that made the art made like a whole public thing about it on Twitter, and then
Oh
you go there
yeah, yeah,
every single,
yeah,
literally every single time it's someone on VGen, and
yeah,
I'm just like, yeah,
absolutely,
I'm not
yeah.
surprised.
Yeah, well, and I don't think that makes VGen a bad place. I think it's a really nice program. I think they have
Yeah,
it set up really nice. It's the people they let in because they do like those like key giveaways because you have to have that special key to be like you get any business really
yeah,
and but they do these giveaways and they give them to like who the fuck ever and then like and it's like who are these people that you're giving these keys to like and there's no amount of vetting or anything and the only type of vetting they get is after they rip someone off and fuck them over and sometimes for thousands of dollars and I think that's really wrong.
right. And then there's another way you can get like a referral,
Yeah,
and
that's ones,
you get,
yeah.
yeah, if you get usually you get a referral from someone you know, and if the person that you know is also a piece of shit, they just let in another piece of shit.
Yeah, just shit letting
It's like,
more shit into the fucking circus, dude.
yeah, and it's like, come on, now, dude, this is getting ridiculous. But whatever, if that's how they want to do it, that's how they want to do it. I'll just stick to Fiverr. Or interestingly enough, I've been in Discords with other people that are like, oh yeah, I'm learning how to rig or whatever. Actually, I have four models currently, and this person was like, I'm learning how to rig, and I need like help with that, but I don't know anyone that needs a model done. So I got them to do three models for me,
Hmm.
and two of them are chibi, and then one of them is just like a regular one, right?
Right.
And that's I've had better luck with that than I had with VGen. And this is a person I met, I think like 2, 3 years ago at this point, and this was their first time doing it. So like it was easier to work with them than it was anyone on VGen.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. I should start using those models more.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you? Hmm. You use a lot of AI. I use a lot of AI. This background we're sitting in
Mhm.
is AI. Do you think AI will? I mean, it will eventually get to the point where we won't even need riggers. Really, we could probably rig it with AI. Where you could literally just put a model or a picture in, and be like, "Hey, rig this into a 2D live model or 3D live or whatever." And you swipe your card, bada bing, bada boom. While that would be quintessential in destroying these shitty artists, which regular AI has already done. I'd say a good 60% of like the lower denominator of artists have probably pretty much just been deleted, and that's why they're so mad. Of course, because at first it was like AI could only do like it was only better than 5% of the human artists, and now it's like better than 60% of the human artists, and I think that's where all the fear and everything comes from.
Hmm.
Do you think once it hits the point where it eliminates the riggers as well, do you think VTubing will still be in an okay space, or do you think it'd be too like accessible?
Uh, hmm, yeah,
And do you think it
little
should
of
be that
both.
accessible?
Personally, I think it should be that accessible to everyone. Just like being a YouTuber is. Literally, you could, even if you have simply just a singular phone, not even have to be a good phone, you could be a YouTuber from that. So I feel like, yeah, it should be. But the thing is, it'll like the VTuber market already seems pretty saturated. But
It
once
is,
that
yeah.
happens, it'll become mega saturated. And I feel like at that point, you'll have to figure out how to like stand out and be your own person, which I feel like will make it'll seem like it's oversaturated and that it's bad, but you'll still have the same amount of people getting big and whatnot as you were before. And people will get mad at that simply because they don't know what it takes, or they don't know what to do in order to become big, because they're doing everything everyone else is doing. And like, yeah, it's cool. You might get like likes on Twitter, but that doesn't bring people to your stream. You know what I mean? Like you think you're putting out content, but like it's the content everyone else is putting out, and your model looks generic and the lore to your model, there's really nothing to it. So it's just kind of like, oh, there's a dime a dozen of you, so why would I even bother to go look at you? It'll become exponentially harder to do this.
Well,
I would
that's
say, but I
me.
still
I'm
want it to happen.
I'm generic and I have no lores.
I mean, but see, but the thing is, the thing that with you is you're different. You're actually talking to other people, like me.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
you said I'm assuming you've done this with other people, correct?
Not on stream. But
Yeah, well,
I used to be a flesh tuber, so and I would
dude, same.
and I used to do like interviews and stuff, and like I do a lot of mentoring and stuff, and because I'm sure you read through my profile, I've gone to like therapy and stuff when I was younger, just because I felt a little off, and it turns out I'm pretty much a psychopath. They found I like they have like a metric system for it, and like if you are above like a level 15, you're considered like psychopathic tendencies. I was like a level 78 on their like
Oh my
metric
God.
system. So I yeah, in I'm so they considered me like a high functioning psychopath basically. Like I'm not going around killing people and, setting people on fire, at least not today. So
It's like a
that
Saturday thing only.
yeah, and I've always been interested in like how people like I guess how their brains work, just because mine's always been kind of like, I've always known it's kind of been off a little bit. So that's caused me to like really get into talking about people's problems and like going through like mentoring and trying to figure out stuff for people that, can't quite get it or can't quite find a way to cope or uh, deal with it. And sometimes they just need like a little logic because that's, I mean, because psychopath is just the lack of empathy. You don't have any empathy. So because of that, what makes up for it is, the logical path. So everything I look at is just logical, even if it's like, oh, well, think of the children, think of the families. And it's like, I look at it on a statistics basis, kind of, and I can't really help myself with that. But I feel like that kind of helps people too, when they get kind of a cut like that. So that's actually what really pushed me to get into content creation to begin with, because I do like entertaining people. That's a huge thing for me, and I could never really get into public speaking, because that's really kind of a hard thing to get into, especially this day and age. You can't just go out and just soapbox, and um, so that's what I like about it. But I think you're right. I think it will saturate even more than it already is. I think people are going to be mad at that. But I think at the same
Mhm.
time, I look at what's currently happening or like what's happened over the last couple of years. And I think for every like three debuts I see, of new people, I see like 10 people graduating.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely a rotary door of all the ones who aren't cut out for it. And that makes me happy because then, if you stick with it and you're actually trying, you actually have, the sense to, succeed. I think it's very possible still. I think it will be possible.
Yeah.
I'm just,
I've
I don't
no,
know.
sorry.
It's just rambling really, but yeah.
No, it's weird because when you were talking about, your psychopathy, I was just like, it sounds like you're describing me, but not black, and I don't know how to feel about that.
Well, from what I learned, and I knew for a fact this wasn't some like stupid shrink trying to bullshit me, is because when I did have the tests done and everything, and they came to talk to me about it, how much they love money. How much they love like diagnosing and like, oh, we need you on this session, that session. This one was very prominent, very well regarded, and he straight up came up to me and he was like, "There's literally nothing I can do for you. Like any more like sessions would be like a waste of your money and a waste of time. Like this is what you are, and these are the steps you can do, but like talking to me isn't going to work." So, and it was at that point I knew like, oh, maybe there is something to this, because like this guy isn't trying to take my money. Like he's not setting up more therapy sessions for me. Like it must be legit. That's kind of what really tied it to me. But I also learned, and that was a segue, but I also learned that men are generally almost every time less empathetic than women and more on the
Oh yeah.
psychopathic side,
Yeah.
because we operate in the logical spectrum, which is why every time you know you're talking to a guy is a good way to find like men trying to pretend to be women online. Is they'll
Yeah.
say when they talk to you, they will say I think. Whenever they respond, they'll be like I think, and they won't say I feel. When you're talking to a
True.
woman, they will always say I feel because their first incentive is going through the part of their brain that deals with emotion. And so we're just kind of wired that way, just naturally, because it's just nature that the men protect, and the men go to war, they kill the thing, they cook the meat, and the women generally they take care of the house, they take care of the children, they take care of the the inside security, and the men are the
There
outside
you have
security.
sexist.
Um, well, yeah. I mean, because
Which is true. It's true though. That's the thing. Like,
yeah, well, if you look at sexist, it's quantifying a gender within a specific set of roles. So even the
mm-hmm.
word sexist isn't even bad. It's just admitting the truth.
It's, yeah, it's just more of a descriptor.
But they yeah, it's exactly what it is. Anything with ist on it is a descriptor. It always
Yeah.
has been, but they've turned it into bad words and like demeaning words, and they never
Yeah.
were to begin with. That's just how the English language works. But they can barely spell their own names, so God forbid they know how English works.
True. Also, I was thinking that if men would more or less be more, at least more on average, would be psychopaths, it seems like women would be more sociopaths, if anything, or
Oh,
like have a
absolutely.
higher,
Oh,
yeah, have a higher
100%.
chance. I also I found it interesting that I've had this discussion before with men, and they're like, yeah, that makes sense. But I've had this discussion with women, and then the first thing, their knee-jerk reaction is, well, I don't think I am. I don't feel like that's me. And I'm like, oh, I'm not saying you specifically, and I guess there's like another way to have to.
Yeah.
There's another way to package that. Like I'm not saying it as a bad thing. I'm just saying it as a statistical average. All right.
Yeah, the second you apply like guy logic to like girl logic, that's when every single fight ever happens.
Yeah,
It just
and I gotta.
it's yeah.
Yeah, it's it's definitely a thing. But real quick, circling back to the whole having the VTuber thing be more saturated and whatnot with
Uh-huh.
when AI does inevitably what it's going to do. Real quick, how long have you been doing this?
Like VTubing or just content creation in general?
Both.
Content creation, I started about 2 years ago, but I consider the first like year and a half year as just like a learning experience to kind of like, okay, this is how YouTube works. Okay, this is how you set up a stream. Okay, this is how metrics on X work. This is how to have stuff. I learned all the little secrets basically of how
Yeah.
virality and like works and how people say certain things to hit certain metrics and stuff like that. But I only got really serious in the last couple months when I, got a VTuber model and this and that and rebranded. So,
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking that even though it'll be like incredibly saturated and like literally every other post on like VTuber Twitter will be like, oh yeah, pre-debut or whatever. It's kind of like that now, just about. But I feel like it'll be harder to get into. Well, no, it won't be harder to get into. It'll be easier to get into, but harder to stay into. But then the people that are and have stayed in will have an easier time because they're the ones that actually like put in the work. You know what I mean?
um, yeah, well, and if you think about it, you always hear from content creators that have been around a while. They always put this, and I hate when they do this, but they always put this stupid metric on content creation as, oh, the second you go viral, you have like 5 years, and that's like your window to make all your money. And I don't think that's actually real. I think that's just an average they've accepted off of what's happened, but that I don't think that's the rule. I think that's just what they're perceiving with what they see with people. Because I think people fake it to make it a lot, and
Yeah.
that 5 years is like kind of the brain's like maximum on dealing with that before they finally they just can't take it anymore and they get exhausted. So I think that's a lot
Yeah.
of it. 5 years is also kind of like the mid, because 5 years, that's half a decade. That's basically the midpoint between when a generation changes to another one. So like
Mhm.
if you take like generation, because you're are you a Zoomer or are you a millennial? I'm a millennial technically.
It,
I think
it really depends on who
I'm
you're
right on the
talking to
edge.
and like who the where what the graph says. Because some graphs are like I'm a millennial, and then some graphs are like I'm the first generation Zoomer.
Yeah, I get that. I
So
get that too because I'm right on the edge. So, but I think
yeah,
like, but if you look at like the generation gaps, like how they have them set up, it's normally like about 10 years, like 10 to 12 years is kind of like the separation. So 5 years, if you think about it, is about half of a generation worth, and that's why they see it like that, is because it's a change in generations, with ages, like people, coming into the sphere and some like moving into another. And I think they think that's what's causing it, and it's really not. It just they don't change their content. They don't like
yeah, they don't adapt.
they don't adapt exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't really see that as a real thing. I think someone can be very relevant for as long as they want to, as long as they keep adapting and working at it. I mean, you
Yeah.
can look at like Asmongold. He's been around
Hmm.
for since the dawn of time. You can look at
Cinnamon Toast Ken,
yeah,
Markiplier, Jacksepticeye. Yeah,
Jacksepticeye, yep. The fucking Pegasus guy.
I love more Pegasus.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
That one guy on Kick, I can't remember his name. Uh I can't remember his name. I don't know. But yeah, I mean lots of examples of it.
Yeah,
Very,
for
very
sure.
big ones in different spheres, in different content. And so I
Yeah,
feel like when they say that, it's really, they're just doing a disservice for themselves because I think they just put it in their own brain that that's like what's going to happen. And then the second they hit that virality, they're like, okay, timer's ticking, got to do some crazy shit, get some money, and I think that's where their downfall happens.
yeah. I also I would change not what you're saying, but the idea, I guess, of it, where it's not like you have 5 years and then everything goes to shit. I feel like it's more of a you probably won't be as big as you were after those 5 years type of deal. Because it
Probably.
isn't
But I
yeah,
mean,
because like
in the same vent of that, like those people we just mentioned, a lot of them are bigger after that 5 years.
what I mean by like bigger, I mean I should have said like viral. You know what I mean? Because
Oh, I see what
obviously
you mean.
Markiplier,
Yeah.
yeah, because like Markiplier is still massive name. Jacksepticeye got massive name. Cinnamon got massive name, right? But like you're not going on YouTube Shorts and every other thing is them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
if you get on YouTube Shorts or like TikTok, every other thing's like queso or Jinxie or something like that.
I think
But I
that's
wouldn't be
okay.
surprised.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
because
yeah, that's fine.
because
I think I wouldn't.
yeah, and I think what happened there is they just don't need it. I mean, why
Yeah,
I wouldn't waste time with YouTube Shorts either if I could fund a movie or do like my own show with like my own crew. Like I wouldn't at all. Or maybe I would. Maybe I would, but I can see where that's coming from.
yeah,
But I think that's what people perceive. They're like, oh, he fell off. We don't see this particular content anymore. And it's like,
yeah.
yes, but look at all this other stuff he's doing.
Yeah,
And
I think it's interesting because a lot of TikTokers I noticed had
oh
that.
God.
I wouldn't necessarily say issue, but they would be big for like 2 3 years, and then they would go do something else, and then it was like, oh well, they fell off. But like if you would look at other things that they've done, they're actually really big in this scene. And like one of the biggest people I know, well, I don't like know them personally, but you know what I mean. But like
Yeah.
one of the biggest artists I know that did that was Post Malone. My
Yeah.
boy was doing rap and whatnot, and I was like singing
Yeah.
along.
Now
And I
he's
think
now
he
he's
won
a
like
now he's a country western singer.
yeah, I'm pretty sure he has like 2 or 3 Grammys for that. But people are still like, oh yeah, no, Post Malone fell off. It's like, no, he did not. Like I don't even really care for that type of music per se.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
nice. It's not like my wheelhouse.
No, he's
But
he's
like
got some catchy
he's still
shit for
perfect.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
he knows he
he's
knows how
still
to make a beat, and make it catchy.
mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's
Um.
just weird how people think like that. And I feel like that's also just like a younger person like I guess issue.
Oh,
I would
true.
say
Yeah.
it has to be because like obviously
Yeah.
like I'm not saying I'm like smart or anything by any standard, but again it's the common sense that's not so common. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
cliche, but it's true, and stuff is
yeah,
cliche for a reason because it tends to be the truth.
yeah,
Personally, I hate TikTok. I think I never engaged with it through my whole life, and I've always shit on it. I've always hated it. And
Man, there's a lot.
so even when I became a content creator, I never really touched it much. And then I decided, you know what, maybe it's a good idea to expand to it because I was expanding to other platforms at that point. I said, okay, let's give TikTok a try. So the first stream I ever had on TikTok, I got banned because I said, man, that's retarded. Like in the first 5 minutes, and they cut it off.
Oof.
And then and I only had like 2 viewers going. Like it wasn't that big a deal. And anyways, what I've noticed is that TikTok is so enclosed within itself; it doesn't interact with other platforms. So I feel like people get trapped in it. Like they'll
Oh yeah.
focus on TikTok and they'll put all this effort into it, and it doesn't go anywhere. And I feel like it's a complete waste of time. That's personal opinion, but I feel like if you're posting on TikTok or trying to use that to go viral, and you're not, a 22-year-old like big titted girl that looks really nice and posting like lewd shit, like you're not going to go anywhere. And it's a complete waste of your time. Hey there, gamers. Tired of deciding between two new games because Mr. Johnson won't approve that raise you requested? Is juggling Discord Nitro for your 14 Ekins breaking the bank? Well, click on this link in my channel details to open yourself up to the world of wholesale Steam game keys and software. You can get brand new releases at a fraction of the price, completely clean and legitimate. And when you disable your ad blocker before clicking, any browsing and purchases directly support this channel and the content you love. So support me, treat yourself, and save some money all in one awesome web store at kingwin.net.
What is the and this is a large scope question, but what is the end goal, I guess, for your VTubing career?
Ooh, that's a great question. I basically, let's get these back. Okay, that's how I know we're live. Uh, End goal for me, I just wanna blow up, brother. I just want to get as big as I can. I think helping people is something that I see like kind of missing in the space. Because if you noticed, if you ever go on, I mean, I know you've seen it on X or even in a random streamers chat or oh, don't trauma dump. If you trauma dump, you get banned. Please don't do this. Please don't do that. I welcome it. I welcome it completely. I think if you're going to trauma dump, come on the show and talk to me. Let's figure it out. And not only do
This
I think
sorry, it's like as soon as you said act, as soon as you said act up, I immediately would act up and just blow up. And look, I don't know nobody.
that's my yeah, that's my favorite video actually from Vines. I
Like,
loved it.
Goal is to blow up and then act like I don't know nobody.
dude, it took me so much restraint to not say that. And I see in the chat, like, God damn it, dude.
But
That's funny.
but no,
Sorry
I
about that. Continue.
no, you're good. It's but yeah, I just want to, I think that'd be a very helpful thing for the community is like, if so many goddamn people want to, trauma dump and talk about this and that, like fucking let them, dude. Let them come on. Let them talk. Maybe it'd be better for them. Maybe it'd make the community as a whole better. That's my gamble, I guess, because everything's a
There
gamble
is
here.
true. There is someone that I'm gonna try to get in contact with you and with because I feel like you both have a well, you both could help. You both seem like you want to do the same thing. Obviously both of you would need to talk about it and see what's what. But I just
Sure.
find it kind of interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Send info. Yeah. I mean, I'm always putting out notices. Like, it's actually pretty funny because I have this new like I have this new tactic, right? So whenever I see somebody post, it'll be like a VTuber, and they're like, "Okay, everybody, just so you know, VTubers aren't your mentors. VTubers aren't your therapists. Please don't do that." So every time I see some bullshit like that, I'll quote retweet them and then be like, "But some are." So you should message me today. I will set you up with an interview. So, and that's actually been very effective. So I've been doing that lately. But yeah, no, I want to hit a point where um, because I'm very inspired by like Caleb Hammer with his, if you know him at all.
Yeah, the financial audit.
Yeah,
Good,
yeah.
good
So
show, good show.
yeah, because I'm when I went to college, I took statistics. So I'm very much into like financially auditing myself and then like offering it for other people, or they're like, hey, I can't figure this out. I'll like literally budget for them. And I'd like to not so much do what he does, but do it on like more of a mentoring level.
Okay.
Um, and just yeah, and really get into like that with it. And I think there's a huge place for that. And I feel like we need more people in that, because there's too many that are just like, I don't want to hear your drama. I just want you to look at my tits and give me money. There's enough of that. I think it's time for some serious adult shit. Like some actual real talk. I think that's what the space needs more than anything. And so
Yeah.
I want to make that a prominent and important part of my content. And then video games, because we like video games.
True.
News, drama, shit coverage, just talking, just having fun. Anything that entertains people, I'm totally down with, because that's, at the end of the day, that's my true goal, is just to just say that I, entertained enough people to, you know, be remembered as someone who, at least gave a shit, despite
True.
despite my disabilities and, all that bullshit. At least I tried to be a real one, and I think that's all what anybody ever wants at the end of the day. So I don't think it's too
Yeah, fair
weird,
enough.
you know?
No, no, I feel like it'll work out pretty well. And also, I feel, and let me know how you think about this, because I've been thinking about this for a while. I feel like the next generation of people that like start watching VTubers, I feel like eventually we'll get to watch people like us, older people that have kind of already gone through stuff. Because there's a lot of people already now that are in our generation and the generation like after us that just haven't had that type of guidance and whatnot, and they don't understand that you can play games, you can have fun, but when it's time to lock in and do some serious stuff, you can lock in and do serious stuff. And they might not have a community or a network for that because obviously, well, they're not really trying, they've never had the chance to or anything like that. So I think it'll be very interesting that there will be a lot of older men, older women that are doing this whole VTubing thing, and it'll change from this niche, like almost hypersexual thing, to this, oh yeah, no, actual adults with actual professions that do actual good in the world do this as well. And I feel like
It's
that'll transform everything.
I think you're right. And it's funny you mention that too, because it's like, if you look at human history too, what were like the first jobs? It was prostitutes. So
Hmm.
it's like, it's kind
Yeah,
of
so
following the same like physiology as, humanity did. Whereas,
that's crazy. It's almost like history rhymes.
yeah, yeah. But I think too, a lot of like the prominent creators today, I think a lot of them, they, they were kind of like the first generation of it, if you really think about it. Like,
Yeah,
they had to figure out everything and this and that, but they don't have the time to, focus on, well, what comes after that. And I think where we're at right now is we're like kind of the in between that has to, learn on our own from, the forerunners basically, but then offer, that stability for the next, and I think I
yeah,
think I think we have the biggest potential for doing that. I agree. So, and I think I
yeah.
think I think that's what will end up happening. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that like the first generation of VTuber ing basically was, it's all, goon bait and etc. Just because, that's kind of like the way it goes of everything. I mean, remember when AI first came out with pictures? The second pictures were kind of good. What's the first thing everybody did? They went and made porn with it. Like it
Oh
was
yeah.
that was the first thing. It always is. That's just, human nature, kind
Hmm.
of. So, but it's
Humans
really
really want to
interesting.
fuck.
It's really interesting seeing it, play out like that. So
Yeah, like I'm not surprised. And they did not too long ago. I don't know who it was or why they did it, but they did the whole Will Smith thing, because I guess that's just like the test.
that is, yeah, that's the, yeah,
So
it's like Crisis. Like, can it run Crisis?
yeah, so it's
But
just
for
like,
AI.
yeah, I thought it was funny because it's like, okay, well, now they did it. Now it actually looks kind of scary, because it's like, if you weren't really paying attention, because like it almost fooled me for a second, because I looked at it, I was like, why is who's posting pictures or videos of Will Smith eating spaghetti? Like, who the fuck cares? And I looked at it and I was like, wait a minute, this is AI. Oh no. Oh no. This is shockingly good.
Yeah. The big thing for me is like, as a content creator, like, well, and as a business owner too, right? I run it's technically two now, but I run technically two businesses in real life.
Nice.
And so, and I'm sole proprietor, so I'm, doing it all on my own. And as being in an industry that, deals with other stuff where AI actually like instantly helps, it's really strange to me to see all the people like really naysaying it and saying, "Oh, it's doing this and doing that." And it's like it's done nothing but help me in every other part of my life. Like even Grok, like I needed to build a tortoise enclosure because I have a tortoise. Me and my daughter have a tortoise, and so I need to build like a little enclosure. Well, I don't, I don't know how to build shit like that, dude. Like I could like figure it out probably, but I'm like, hey, whatever, So I asked Grok, I'm like, hey, could you like build me schematics for like an enclosure and like show me what I need for materials? And it literally did it in like 5 minutes, free of charge.
Yeah.
And it's like stuff like that. Like if you use it in a way that's actually beneficial for you and you're actually like genuine with that, it's super helpful. And I think these people just refuse. And I've even gone on record, in tweets and stuff, but trying to say, hey, because they say, oh, if you use AI, you're bad. And if you don't use AI, you're good. And I'll follow you. And I always comment on those posts. It's like, why can't it be both? Why can't we engage with artists and support artists and, get art when we need it from artists and help, and respect that side of it and also use AI when we need it for other stuff. Why can't we have both? And they always block me. It's always funny. Always
I mean, there
block
is
me.
a reason for that. And it's simply because usually the people, and I'm pretty sure we kind of brushed on the topic before. It's usually the people that are like, hey, I don't like AI. It's because they're like they're like the lower
The
80% of
60.
artists.
Yeah. The
Yeah, so
bottom
yeah,
60.
60.
Yeah.
Yeah, like people weren't going to commission you for art anyway. Like, and the thing is, I don't like to be rude for no reason, and it's and I don't want to sound rude either when I say this, but like people just weren't going to use you anyway. And like the thing is, I get it because I'm a video editor, right?
Yeah.
I only have like well, not at this point, it's like 3 years of experience, right? But people, for some people, that's not enough, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like if people say no, and I've gotten a lot of no's, trust me, I've gotten a lot of no's.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine.
Oh yeah,
You
I do.
just
I
need to up
do.
your
I
game.
do. I do video editing too. I edit all my videos and do all
Mhm.
my stuff. And like I didn't. I had no experience with it. I basically got CapCut for free, like the free version of CapCut, and
Yeah,
just like self taught. Just trial and error
yeah, yeah,
basically. I'm still learning with it, but it's like I thought I put out some pretty good bangers too. Like I've had a couple of cool videos and had fun with it. It takes me a long time, but I get
yeah.
there. And it's just like they have these AI tools in there too. They're just like, oh, this one helps, balance all the sound, or this one helps, change the image so it's not, turning all staticky from like the way you recorded it on stream. And it's like that stuff's really helpful. Like,
Yeah.
how could they be against that? Like, what artist is going to go in and do that for me and not use an AI tool? You know, like what,
That's yeah. It's like
like,
and there's some things, and not just in video editing. And I think it's bonkers to me because I've seen people that will be like artists specifically that are like, I don't use AI, right? But they're
right?
like, oh yeah, if I click this tab and this tab, it takes me to this tool and it automatically does this thing that I
Yeah,
want it to do.
yeah,
And it's like, you do know what that is, right?
yeah. It's a tool. It's not AI. It's this tool, not AI. There's no A
Yeah,
or
whatever,
I in
dude.
the word tool. Duh. Yeah.
Whatever, dude. Like it's so dumb, and it's funny because there's also tool like I use Premiere Pro. I pay for it.
Okay.
Like and I've been doing that because like literally when I was flesh tubing, I decided to stop doing that because I wanted the quality of videos that I was putting out. I was like, I don't like these because I feel like I could do better, but I don't have the knowledge
Equipment.
on
Yeah.
Premiere Pro
Yeah. Yeah.
to really do it exactly how I want it. So
Right.
I was like, okay, well let me take a couple weeks to figure out what to do and how to do it. And I really like locked in, buckled in, and got good at it. And then I kind of like never went back to that channel and then started VTubing and just kind of haven't looked back since. But ever since I did that, it ended up not being 2 weeks. That ended up being like 2 years. So, but after that, now it's just like if somebody needs help, the group like, I'm in like multiple groups. If somebody needs help doing something or they need a clip edited or whatever, they'll just throw it my way and I'll send it back to them within 20 minutes to an hour, depending on what I'm doing that day. And I
Yeah.
don't ask for money. The only thing I ask is let me use it in my portfolio, brother. Other than
Yeah,
that, it's
see,
whatever.
isn't that crazy when you use like mutual collaboration to like meet a goal? Like that's my whole
Yeah,
point when I tell them that. It's like why not try
yeah,
use both? Like be open to it. Maybe it'll like further your content. They never do, and it's like okay, so you're just gonna fail. Cool. And I never feel bad.
yeah.
I know you say you feel bad when you say that. I literally can't feel bad, so I just tell them the truth, and if they don't like it, well, It literally doesn't affect me at all. It's I'm I'm a minotaur in the internet. I don't give a fuck. So,
I mean,
but
well, I should probably clarify because like it's not that well, it depends. It depends on who I'm talking to, really. Because like if it's an anti, I don't care if you feel bad. But there are some people that are genuinely like, well, I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm stuck. I can't compete with these
eh,
AI people, and I
I
don't like it. And then it's
I
just
think
like,
there's some nuance
well,
to it. Sure. I
yeah,
mean, I think at the same time, like I think it's not important to convince them that they're right. It's more important to convince them that there's still a path to, for them to take to like
yeah,
counter
yeah,
that. I think that's the important part.
yeah, yeah. A very, very interesting AI debate going on. Also, since we're talking about it, and we're talking about it more of like in a creative aspect. I know you were talking about you got schematics and whatnot for it, but
Yeah.
how do you feel like AI will be just like on an industrial scale? Like
It's already
how
in
do
it.
you think?
It's already in
Well, I
it.
mean, yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean like years from now, because everyone's like, oh yeah, AI will take your jobs, and I'm like, I'm a mechanic, so
Um,
no, not really.
well, AI is already in mechanics too. Like, because I'm a grease monkey as well. I'm a shade tree mechanic. I work on like lots of people's cars, in my garage and stuff. Because fuck a dealership, so I'm sure you can relate to
It's true.
that. So
It's true.
the only time I go to a dealership is for their specialty tools that they won't sell me. So, and I call them
Yeah.
Nazis the whole time. But oh, and the smell of the nice tires, because they always have that nice tire smell in there. But
It's really weird because like I love the smell of new tires, and I can't convince anyone else that that's a good smell.
it
But
is,
whenever I
yeah.
meet another mechanic, they're just like, "Oh yeah, new tires smell nice." I'm like, "Yes, finally,
I
someone understands. They smell amazing."
I think it might be like a I don't know if it's an acquired taste or if it's like Stockholm syndrome. I think it's a little bit of
Yeah,
both.
it's got to be something.
Yeah, but regardless, no, it's already in the industry. Like it started in what 1999 with I think that's no 94 95 was the first year they did the like true non-mechanical like OBD system. So the OBD1 I think hit. Oh
Okay,
no, or
yeah,
maybe did it hit before that? I think 95 is when they went to OBD2, wasn't it?
something like that.
It was something like that. Yeah, but anyways, I mean that's and it's technically AI. It works the same way. And I just don't. I think the big problem with these anti AI people is they don't understand how it actually works and how prominent it really is. Because like every time they talk about AI in video games, I always ask them the same question, and no one ever defends it. And it's like, well, do you play Minecraft? Like, yeah. Like, okay, well, that's Gen AI. And they're like, no, it's not. It's like, yes, it literally is. Like any game, even in the 90s that came out that had like a seed, like a map seed program, or any type of like random generator, this or that. That's technically generative AI. It just pulls from a smaller like pool of resources than the ones we deal with art do. But
Yeah,
it's essentially the same thing. And they just
yeah,
this and it just like breaks their brains with it. And it's like it's literally everywhere. Oh, and then the other defense is uh it's stealing, but we all know that's just a play to it. And I'm getting off topic. As far as industry, I think it's already being used in a lot of industry, even in places we don't even know. I use it in my industries because I do like commercial embroidery, so I do like custom hats and clothing. So I can actually do my own merch, is what I was planning to do,
oh, sick.
instead of depending on like a merchant company. I can just do it myself. And so if anybody tries to cancel me, they'll like try to call the owner and I'll answer the phone and call them
It's right,
slurs. So, I think that's a win.
as one does,
Yeah. So,
as
but
one
I mean,
does.
I deal with it there. I do car upholstery as well. Not as much anymore, and then I work with computers as well, computer repair and building. But like even in my industries, yeah, it's already in there and it's super helpful. I mean, it cuts out the annoying middlemen, which are always the ones who bitch. But they're the biggest problem with every industry, every single time. And I think as a middleman, like if you made your money and you're in that type of business and you're doing that thing, good for you. Get your money while you can. But at the same time, it's like if you don't have a path out of that, or you don't have a way to like you know adapt to that, it's your own fault and you shouldn't be mad at it. And I feel like these people, they're just the only reason they're mad is because they're retarded. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
very
really,
such case.
yeah, stop being mad because you're retarded. I know it's frustrating, but that seems like the majority of it.
Yeah. Unfortunate for them because since they're retarded, they don't know why they're mad. So because like
They're
they
so
could stop.
retarded they don't know they're retarded. Yeah, it's
Yeah, right.
yeah.
It's an unfortunate way to live. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. I'll be the first person to tell you I'm kind of retarded. I have no idea what's going on here. So you're gonna have to walk me through it. I'm the first person to tell you that. I am not even stuff that I know. I'm
Yeah.
still gonna be like, granted, like video editing, for instance, people ask me, hey, can you help me with video editing? And yeah, granted, I've been doing it for 3 years now, right? And I even put out something that got on ESPN.
Oh
Even
wow.
though I've done, yeah, right. Even though I've done that, I'm still kind of new to this. I will say that till the day I die. And it's also like that with, I don't know if you do any martial arts, but it's also
Yeah.
like that with martial arts. And it's funny because there's a League of Legends character that has a quote that is so, it's not like it's profound necessarily, but it rings so true and people just don't understand it. And the quote goes, a true master is an eternal student. That's just,
Yeah, very
that's just
true.
how it is.
Yeah,
It's just
that's
how
very
it is.
true.
I don't understand why people. Well, I mean, they're retarded. So that's why.
Yeah,
Let me ask you.
it's because they're retarded. Yes,
Yeah, let me
it's such
ask
a
you
simple
something.
answer, but it's so true.
Right. But look, let me ask you something else. There, and I don't know how it works for you, and I don't know how it's going to work for chat, but I know how it works for me. There's a certain level of common sense that I expect everyone to have, and when they don't have it, I get upset,
Yeah,
like irrationally upset.
I don't get upset anymore.
Lucky you.
I kind of take the look at well, I got to a point in my life where it was just happening so much that
They're real.
whenever like people, like even like people close to me or in my life or even like random strangers, it doesn't matter, when they get mad at people for being retarded, at the end of the day it's like, why are you getting mad? Like, don't waste the mental capacity on why they're retarded. Just be like, okay, they're retarded, and move on. And I think that's the most important thing and most healthy thing I've ever done for my mental.
Oh,
It's just like
you're
the
so
second the
lucky.
second I know they're retarded, I just completely disavow everything. I just pretend they're not a person anymore, because it's, nothing's going to change. You can it's so easy to convince someone of a lie, but it's so hard to convince someone, that they're wrong. And that
True.
rings true, and it will never not be true, because
It-
humans as a whole, we're just, realistically, we're very sheep mentality, we're very herd mentality, and
yeah,
that's
very
we
consensus
do
driven.
that. Yeah, we do. We're very community driven because that's what we do for survival.
Yep.
Because we don't have claws, we don't, we're not big, we're not like 10 feet tall. We have to use collaboration and teamwork, naturally, as
Yeah.
humans. And
True.
so I think in that same regard, that's a good thing. I think it's also a bad thing. It can be a negative thing, because then people see, oh, well, this is the common denominator and agreement, and they agree with it, depending on which age you are and your understanding of things. And I feel like
True.
that's where a lot of this comes from, is they it's okay to follow the crowd. I know that's weird to say. It really is okay. But you shouldn't follow them down the whole road, you know?
True.
Like,
True.
it's okay to agree, like, like, oh, murder's bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad, but is murder always bad? Like, if we have someone killing someone, should we kill them back? It's the same kind of deal with that. And I think
Yeah.
people they stay on the walking path too long for a lot of stuff. And I think that's where they get got.
True. Also, what Skippy said is so on point for exactly how I feel. Because say someone does something that just makes no sense and they're retarded, and for like 5 seconds after that, I feel exactly what Skippy said, because it was like, because why are you retarded? You don't need to do that. What the fuck? And
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh my god, I'll be so filled with rage for that 5 seconds, and then right after that, I'm just like, whatever.
Well, it's because
It's whatever. I just need to.
everybody thinks they're the smartest person until until some, until it clicks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That reminds me of when you see like the people that are like lawyers and doctors and stuff like that. on TikTok, YouTube, all that good shit.
Oh yeah.
And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, so this was a problem that one of my patients had a long time ago, and it seems to be a common problem. So, here's some home remedies, yada 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 yada." Right?
Right.
And then you'll go into the comments, and it's like the first three people are like, "Well, that didn't work for me, so I just steeped my balls in pig shit. Now I don't have cancer anymore." And it's like, what? What? You think you know more than the not whatever, dude. Whatever, dude.
Well, and I think criticism is fair, for lots of things, especially in this day and age. But yeah, I think I think there's a certain nuance too that people like, well, and what you're alluding to actually, now that I think about it, is critical thinking, which is very,
Yeah,
very low in percentage these days. Uh,
yeah,
and critical thinking is also one of the. I'm going to adjust my mic here, so it might make a weird noise. I think it's so important to realize that because critical thinking is one of like the major factors with reading directions. And so I've never had a problem with reading directions. And so it's like, oh, this is how you build a chair, step one, step two, step three. Until I got out into like the public and on the internet and on Twitter. And then I realized how many people like that's a struggle for them,
yeah.
reading basic directions. And it's like, where did that come from? Did they just never picked up critical thinking? And I don't even know where I picked up critical thinking. And
I was
so,
about to ask you about that too, because I was thinking I don't know where I picked it up, because like I was never like I had
yeah,
a father at home, surprise, surprise, that was like, oh yeah, I'm going to teach you critical thinking skills and all that. And a lot of people that I know have never really had like they've never been sat down and been like, okay, so I'm going to teach you how to think, and that sounds ridiculous, but like it's
yeah,
something that needs to be done.
maybe so.
I,
I think
I
I
feel like
think
it
it's
does. I feel like there's like a non-negotiable. Like when I have kids, I'm 100% telling
yeah.
them, well, not like telling them, I'm instructing them in the ways of critical thinking and logic, so they don't end up, going down the pit, as Skiffy said.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is, and you have to be careful with that because
Yeah,
if you show them how to do everything, they don't learn critical thinking either. Sometimes you
yeah,
just have to let them suffer a bit with like, or struggle. I not suffer, but struggle with a
I,
job or a task, and get their brain to engage on actually like troubleshooting. And that's what I was going to allude to is I think you and I have the same brain worm where probably at an early age, and which is probably why you're into mechanics like I am too, is that we both hit a point in our lives where something needed to happen and we became master troubleshooters. We're not good at anything, but we're the best troubleshooters. And because of that, we can learn anything because we can
yes,
troubleshoot through something and learn it. And I feel like
yes,
that's like the biggest strength to have is learning how to troubleshoot. Because short example, my house is really old and all the electrical in it is really bad. I'm not an electrician. I took apart the thing on the wall after turning it off and looking on YouTube about this and that. Learned how to do the thing after one, replaced one, took like an hour. After that,
yeah,
I redid all the electrical in the house and it's great.
yeah.
And I
There you
didn't
go.
have to spend it was like $200 for all the equipment. And afterwards, just out of curiosity, because I like doing this because it makes me feel good, is I got a quote from an electrician for it over the phone, and it was like $7,000, $8,000. So it's like, whoa, look at all the money I just made, because
Yeah,
because it
right.
makes me feel good. But I think troubleshooting is like because critical thinking and troubleshooting, that's technically the same thing in a way. One's just
Yeah,
applied, and one is just more um, juxtaposed in like its own like little bubble. And so I feel like troubleshooting needs to be like the focus for people, at least at a young age. And I think
yeah,
that's completely ignored in both like the education system and like general just everyday life because everything's been troubleshot. That's the
yeah,
problem. So
yeah.
if
It's
everything's
like the
troubleshot, how do you troubleshoot?
Exactly. I call this specifically the Reddit conundrum, where it's like
Oh,
if you've ever had a problem, just go to Reddit because someone's had that exact same problem already.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So it isn't like you've ever had to fix anything. You could just go there and figure it out. And so I was thinking also another thing that you said, it's neglected in schools and whatnot. I feel like also one of the reasons that it's neglected in school is because I don't think there's like a set correct way to teach it,
yeah,
especially like you have a daughter, right? So
yeah.
I'm assuming the way you learned how to do things would be different than the way she would learn how to do things. And in school, they're definitely not going to give each child the individual time and care that they need in order for them to be taught something as vast as critical thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and she's at the age, so like one thing I've learned with raising a kid is like a lot of people just assume they just assume that they are going to know things a lot faster than they will.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big mistake because then I think people, push the learning process too fast for a lot of people or a lot of kids rather. And I feel like like at least my personal experience was like before I was about I think 13, 14 is like a really important age because before that, I felt like I was just kind of like on autopilot and like drifting through the clouds and just like, NPC mode. And the second I hit 13 or 14, I guess that might be like a big development stage for like the brain or something. Cause I know that's right during puberty. So that might
Yeah.
be some like brain thing too. But I felt like right around there, one day it just like something happened and I just became self aware. You know what I mean? And just like
It
from
feels
that
weird
point
because again,
on, yeah, and from that point on, I remember everything. But it was like before that was just like the preview, it was like the
yeah,
prelude. And then one day it just clicked like, holy shit, this is me, this is who I am, this is the world, all at
yeah,
once, just randomly one day while I'm sitting there. And then from then ever since, that's when my brain started working, I felt like. And I think my daughter personally, I think she's close to that, but I think she's a great kid. She's actually been the best kid. Like I never had an issue with her. She never like cried or smeared shit on the walls or all the stupid bullshit people always bitch about. Kids are actually great. Um, and I think she's still in that kind of like NPC mode where she's still in the kid mode, but I think she's getting to the point now where she's about to click into self awareness, and
yeah,
it's really interesting to see because it's like it's basically watching a mini version of yourself again, and then
yeah.
reflecting back on it. And I think that's the most important part is noticing when that happens and being there for them in a way that you wanted someone to be for you. When that
Yes.
clicked for you because you have an understanding of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, what you described essentially was how it worked for me. And I remember where I was. I remember the house
yeah,
that I was
yeah,
in. I
exactly,
remember
yeah.
literally what I did the next day. It was weird because I remember because I'm chilling looking at my phone. And I'm just like, all right, whatever. And then all of a sudden everything got real quiet. And then I sat up and I was like, so I guess this is life.
Yeah, it's
It was it
it's
was
like
it was it was so weird. It was such a surreal experience.
yeah, it's like when you go offline on Discord because your internet went down. You're just sitting there staring at the screen, and suddenly like it just comes back online and reconnects. Like that's what it felt
Yeah,
like. It was just like an instant connection to the internet. Like, but in
yeah.
real
It's
life, it is really odd.
honestly,
It is. It's very
it's like
strange.
honestly, I think it's going to be kind of scary for the next couple generations, simply because, as you said, everything's been troubleshooted already. So it's like they'll come in, they'll figure out, and they'll just it's like, well, this is life. Well, now what am I going to do? And unfortunately, they have more information than the Library of Alexandria in their hand, and then it's just like, well, what do I do now? And it'll be like an information overload, provided they don't have like a decent parent or not.
As
That's
as
what I'm worried about,
as
to be
much as
honest.
I agree with you, I also disagree with you too. And here's why: is because you could say that same exact thing for someone 100 years ago that everything
Yeah,
was
yeah,
figured out and that the new generation doesn't have anything to figure out. But there's technology is always changing, new stuff is
hmm
always being discovered. Even when we're finally like, okay, well, we discovered all this stuff, new shit comes out. And I think there's going to be a series of stuff probably with AI and like how that they go forward. Quantum computing is going to be like the next really crazy thing, I think, in robotics. And I
yeah,
think they're going to have a point where they have something that their generation has to overcome and troubleshoot as well, just like ours did, and the
yeah.
one before us, and so on and so forth. So I wouldn't say it stops at us ever. I think that's
Oh
really
yeah,
short sighted, and I
yeah.
think I think we just haven't seen what they're going to run into yet. But I also think too we do have a very unique generation because of the fact that we grew up with internet becoming internet, Wi-Fi becoming Wi-Fi. We
Bluetooth becoming Bluetooth.
Bluetooth. We grew up with cell phones existing and then smartphones. We are, and I feel like we're more technologically potent and like literate, not illiterate, but literate
Mhm.
than generations even after us. Because I've noticed that even with people younger than me that come to me for like computer stuff. You know, like I had like one of my first jobs. I sold a because I fix people's computers and I collect like the extra parts that they don't want or whatever. And then what I'll do is I'll Frankenstein computers together and then make them all pretty and throw, a couple nice, color fans in them. And then I'll like resell them on like Facebook Marketplace and,
Nice.
have it completely wiped, set, ready to go. Everything's good, self certified, everything, and then sell it. And the amount of like computers I sold to like kids and they're like 17, 19, 20, younger than me, didn't know a thing about computers, and they're just like, this runs Fortnite. What FPS? Oh, 150. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll buy it. Yeah, if it does that. And they don't know anything about computers, and it's like, to me that's really weird, but at the same time it's like, holy shit, kind of a mind-blowing moment that, we're a generation that we're right at the pinnacle of the innovation that we're have it ingrained in us now. And
True.
there's going to be something for them that works like that. I'm pretty sure it's AI related. That would be my
Yeah,
guess.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and I feel like they're going to be better with AI than we are, and I think they already are to an extent. I feel like they already, use Chat GPT more than they say. Um, but yeah, it's just really interesting to me because every generation has something they're just going to have, except for like generation, what, the one before millennials, what was it, Z, Y? I don't remember.
I'm not
the
sure. I
ones
know
the
what you're
ones born in the
talking about.
70s and 80s, like they had it pretty rough
Yeah,
because there's like nothing going on there. Everybody's doing drugs, so
yeah, right.
they had
What a
it pretty
time to be
rough.
alive. It's
So
what a time to be alive.
yeah, I feel like they had it worse because they're the ones gonna, oh, excuse me, they're gonna, and just in my chair, my leg was falling asleep. They didn't have as much technological like happening, and I feel like they have it the hardest, in fact, because they didn't have any like crazy innovation going on during that time that was like, too nuts. And I feel like they're always playing catch up with this stuff and struggling, and they don't bitch about it. So, good on them for that. But, there's going to be generations that have that too, where they don't have any innovation going on. But I think there's always going to be innovation and always going to be that. So I'm not too worried about it. They will find their own way to troubleshoot. I think troubleshooting is its own like cultural like subject, and like part of life. And
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm rambling now, but yeah, that's how I feel. So
I mean, hey, you're better than me. It's like I think I don't think. I mean, maybe I should rephrase because like I don't think that innovation is going to stop with us necessarily. I just again I feel like maybe I'm more I guess doomer pilled about it, but I'm worried about them because like the way
yeah,
technology hit us
yeah,
is good
yeah.
lord it was like crack in the 80s in the black community, brother. Like it was something. It was definitely something. So this next generation that just already has it and it can already do all of these things is just it's gonna hit hard. I would
Yeah,
love for it to not hit
I
as hard as
think
it's
I
going
think
to.
it's very justified for you to be black pilled about that. The only white pill I could offer to maybe make you feel better about it is the fact that instead of looking at it as like a offense that has hit them, look at it as a platform that they can build off of. Like look at it
Yeah,
as
that is yeah.
yeah. That's the only thing I could probably offer on that. And that's the way I see it, at least. Because it works that way through history in my head, at least. That every technological advancement isn't a ceiling; it's a floor.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And that's what I hope for, at least. I think really where the worry comes from on my end, and probably on yours too, is the amount of like corporatization and like a taming, I guess, if that's a correct word for it, of these certain things to the point where they've fenced in a lot of people to not look at innovation and just look at existing.
Yeah,
Just
they'll
like
curate it to a
it
point where it's
it's
like
yeah,
you
it's
can't do
curated,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
it's
it's so
yeah.
watered down to like a generalized level of comfort that
Yeah.
they're unwilling to get out of their comfort zone, because why should they when the comfort zone is, the size of a football field?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. That is definitely something that's worrisome. But I think the indomitable human spirit overcomes that every time, and so why wouldn't
So
it
far,
this
it is, yeah.
time? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think there's a cap on that. I don't think there's a point it gets to where that doesn't be the case, and that might take longer times each time, but I don't think it's ever going to like eventually hit a wall.
Yeah.
Unless something like really like dystopian happens, but I don't I don't really see that happening. And that would stop it. If anything, it'd like accelerate.
Yeah, I can see
That.
that.
Yeah.
That was yeah. This entire conversation was one of the reasons I was going to teach my kids as well as possible critical thinking, but not necessarily like because you made me think about it because like I can't exactly show them 100% everything, but what I could do, and what is something that is with me since preschool, is my
Skiffy.
teacher had this idea called like concepts, I guess, and it was essentially
Uh,
a bag. It was a bag of essentially
bag of
Lego
holding.
logs and Legos,
No.
right? And she was like, "Here's a picture of what I want you to make. Here are the tools to make it. Make it." You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
really, really basic, really bare bones. It really isn't like there's anything to it that you would think of, especially at that age. But every once in a while, there'll be a problem that I have that it's just like, well, what do I do? And what rings in my head is what she said. That was in preschool.
Uh,
So I will give them the tools essentially to do it, but whether they apply them, I guess, will be what how it is, I guess. And also you're better than me because you were like I'm not going to have them suffer. It's like you were better than me because they're going to suffer. And it's not again, I'm not going to do it intentionally, but like
well,
obviously, especially if
well,
my kid is anything like me, if he's going to be riding a bike and trying to figure out how that works, yeah, he's going to fall off a couple times. I'm going to
no,
catch
no,
him.
I'm
He's
exactly where
back on
you're
the bike.
at. What I meant
Yeah.
by suffering was like needless suffering was
Oh,
basically what
okay,
I
yeah,
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 yeah.
that's what
Okay.
yeah, because I mean, if you throw a kid a Lego box and they've never touched Legos before, and you're like, you need to build this or you don't get to eat tonight, like that's unnecessary
Jeez,
suffering,
yeah,
like.
right.
And but to
Hey,
some people that's learning, like, well, that's how I learned, and it's like that's not how this works,
yeah,
that
there's a
that
better
was
way to
yeah.
learn.
I should have specified a bit more. So,
No, but
but
I
yeah,
get you. I get you. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. No, I totally
There,
agree though. I think there's a time to shelter and coddle, and there's a time to push and allow personal experience, and getting the balance between that is actually really hard as a parent. I think that's
yeah.
like, and it's scary too. It's very scary because it's like how
I'm not
how
even a
much,
parent anymore.
because you don't want to coddle them too much because then you miss that opportunity forever to like have them experience something. But
Yeah,
if you let them experience too much of something, or they mess up to a point that's like really bad, then there's no going back from that either. And that's the scariest thing as a parent. And I
yeah,
think that combined with every fucking other thing going on in the world is it's a lot. It's really scary. And I don't feel mad, or I don't feel frustrated at people who, like, a majority of people who don't want kids these days because of that. Because I feel like that's the biggest reason. They just don't want to say that. They're like, oh, it's financial. Financial is the easy way to say it, right? It's like, oh,
right.
I can't afford a kid, so why would I have a kid? When deep down inside, if you really wanted a kid, you wouldn't care about finances because you'd know. I think people think that they need that finance to be able to raise that kid correctly. So they're not necessarily like choosing a cop out answer. They're actually more caring of that idea than we allude to,
Yeah,
because they want to do right. They want to do good by raising a child correctly. And so for them to be worried about that means deep down inside they are worried about that process of coddling versus pushing.
yeah. I also feel like a lot of people don't know that they don't like. Well, they don't know that that is what they're feeling because it's not something that
Oh,
comes up
absolutely.
where
Yeah, you're
like
exactly right.
conversations like we're having now, that are more philosophical, as I would say, in nature. A lot of people don't have those, and I also feel like that also goes into a little bit into critical thinking because a lot of the stuff we're talking about, again, not to suck my own dick here, but a lot of it's stuff that people don't think about. You know what I mean? And when you
Yeah.
do, it's some of these topics are hard to talk about because not only do you not know, there's some things that you don't know that you don't know. So it's even more difficult to have a conversation or an honest conversation like this about it. And they don't want to seem stupid either.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of things that go into stuff like this. But I mean, I don't know.
I think they care about that until they are given a true, honest like try, or like a place where admitting they're stupid isn't detrimental, or
Yeah,
it's not being used as like a ploy, or a funny humor. I think that's the most important thing, is giving people the space to like admit an insecurity or like a downfall, and then because that's the first step of like noticing. It's the first step of fixing something. And
yeah,
so I think it's more important to offer that leaf to people who are like, hey, I think I'm really smart. However, deep down inside, I think I'm retarded, but I don't want to admit that because it'd make me feel bad and destroy my morale on it.
yeah,
And I think talking to them, especially kids too, this is very important of kids, talking to them like adults, like just treat them like
yeah.
another human. I think that's very important. I think it's very important for people our age or older or younger, or, any peers. I think it's very important to talk to everybody like, an adult, and never, chastise them as a kid. We already went through that as a child. We don't
Yeah.
need it again. And I think everybody should be at least given the opportunity to, be treated as like a human, an equal person. And then if they are given that chance, like an honest chance, and then they stray from that or shy away from that, then they've made their decision, and whether they decide to change later or not, it doesn't really matter at that point, because they, if they don't have the mental maturity to realize that's what's going on, and that that's a mistake to do that, then when does it get better? Like, when does it improve? What changes past that? What more could you do to even fix that? You can't. It's kind of like the final straw with intellectualism, is not being able to realize when you're wrong, or realize when you have a chance to change, and you're not taking it.
Very true. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting conversation.
It is,
It's
yeah.
weird. I never get a chance to have conversations like this with anyone, just in general. So it's like
Yeah, you're always
it's
welcome
kind
on.
of
This
refreshing.
is this was a lot of fun. I know we're pretty close on time here, because you got to go to your other interview. What, in an hour?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to get you right up to the line, so we'll probably cut it here pretty soon. Let me get one last question in though.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I would like this question, if Skithy, if you're still here, think up a question for our Mr. Jigz here. And it can be as unhinged or as deep or as whatever as you want. And I will let him answer it. I'll give my 2 cents, and then we'll call it a day. And I'm gonna get some lunch. Hurry up! Write a question. Chop chop.
I can't believe you treat your mods like this. He's gonna write a Google Doc on you.
You better write a Google Doc on me. I'm a farm it.
Yeah, right. Oh my god.
He don't even use Twitter. I don't give a fuck. Like, what's he gonna do?
Yeah, I was about to say you're not missing much. Like Twitter is really only for like connecting with people, sharing art and porn, brother.
Bad Yelp review.
The patio preview is crazy.
You give me a bad Yelp review, I'm gonna break your legs. I guess a question. Wait for him to do this. But yeah, this has been fun. Yeah, if you have anybody else you want to send, and I'd love to do
Actually,
more interviews.
I have a ton of people that I feel like would
Yeah,
love to do something like this
yeah,
because
I'd be
it's
down.
funny because I literally just started doing different stuff like this as well because I thought it was interesting because I wanted to do gameplay stuff, but I also wanted to talk to people, and then I also
Yeah,
have another channel where I make videos myself and I make jokes obviously, and I highly edit those, and I think those are cool. So this
yeah,
whole
for
interview
sure.
thing was really nice. So I just wanted to interview more people in the industry. And then when you hit me up, I was just like, whoa, okay, then I guess we're doing this now too.
I was, yeah, I had someone slotted, like a friend of mine in Nami server, Namika, and Me and him were actually yapping the other night, and I'm like, shit, I should have you on for an interview. So we like planned for today, and then he had some stuff going. So I was like, oh, cool, we'll just move it. And then I was like, fuck, what do I do today? So I saw you pop on Twitter, and I remembered your interview from the other day. So I'm like, fuck, I'll see if he's available. If he's not, then oh well. And if he is,
Oh, did you
great.
see?
So,
Did you see that interview?
I did, yeah, I watched it. Yeah, I was there. I was yapping in your Kick stream, but everybody was on Twitch because they're gay. So because Twitch is gay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody should be using Twitch, and that's my stand. Okay, so Skithy says, if you could change, you can't look at this. You know he's black. He can't even speak fucking English when he's typing. Look at this shit.
Change one thing.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
I'll translate for you. Don't worry. I got you. Okay, you ready?
I think it's okay.
If you could change one thing legal and one thing illegal, what would they be and why? So if you could get rid of one thing that's legal, and you could also change one thing that's illegal, what would it be?
Very interesting question. I've never really thought about it.
Well, now you are. You're on the spot.
Yeah, right. If I could change, I'll break it down. If I can change one thing that is legal that isn't legal, because I'm trying to think if I'm going to change something that is legal to something that isn't, I want to somehow make it into my benefit. You know what I mean? Because that's just the indomitable human spirit.
Yeah, naturally. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's fair. What would it be though?
Tax fraud. I just thought of it. Tax fraud.
Tax fraud. Okay. Well, tax fraud is legal. So.
Yeah, so we're making that illegal, all right?
Yeah, but it already, we're making it legal. Oh,
we're making it legal now. We're making it legal.
Okay.
Because I don't like taxes.
Man, that's a spicy take. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, like if other people don't have to pay taxes, I don't have to pay taxes. It's that simple. But like making something that is illegal. That's the weird one. That's what I'm.
Yeah, that is a strange one.
Yeah, now it's like, what would I even do? What would I? Oh, you say something. Let me think.
Oh yeah, I have an answer already. Yeah, it's been my. I can answer this real easy. Gambling.
Gambling? What do you mean?
It's legal. Gambling's legal in every sense. It's in every game. It's in every aspect of everything, and it rots the brain. And they target children with it. I think it should be illegal in every sense. So.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
This is the only thing I agree with Muslims on ever is gambling is bad. However, they still do it too because they're anyways. But that's
a whole other interview.
yeah, that's interview number 2. Yeah, it's like, okay, let's start off easy. Let's talk about religion. So
yeah, YouTube. Let's get this to 10,000 likes. We'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, but no, I think any legal form of gambling should be illegal. Okay. And if you do want to do like gambling type stuff or like the guessing type stuff, I don't think it should involve incentives or money at all. I don't think it should be around children, and it isn't in a lot of cases, but not all cases. Yeah. As far as illegal to legal, I'm gonna go with the degenerate answer here. I think having sex in your car should be legal. And
because it is illegal.
So and why I say that, and this is going to be I'm going to have to explain this very carefully. Okay. So the reason I say this is because I have a friend, and he actually lives in Japan now. He moved to Japan. But when he was in the US, it's because he does it. Well, I used to own a full-size van with a bed in the back. Yes, but I had tinted windows. Yeah. So no, this friend is not me. No, this is an actual legitimate friend. He was from college. He had sex in his vehicle with his girlfriend. They were both of age. It was an abandoned parking lot. And so anyways, a cop saw the car, pulled in, got him. So what happened is they said, hey, you can't do this here. You need to leave. He's like, okay, cool. He got his name and this and that. He got put on the registry, didn't he? Yeah, he got put on the registry for not pedos, but what's the what do you call it?
Indecent exposure or something like that?
Well, it is, but when it's in public like that, you're put on the oh god, why can't I think of it? It's the sexual
the sex offender registry.
Sex offender registry. Yeah. So so having sex in a car in public, even if nobody's around but you get caught, you're considered a sex offender. And
Yeah.
I think if it should be case by case basis, because that
Yeah.
can be applied even to people that are minors. So like if you're in high school and you and your high school girlfriend, they're going to do shit. We were all kids. You do the thing. You can be
Hmm.
put on a sex offender list for the rest of your life with that. And I think that's too much. Like I am very anti, pedo and the gay shit and the LBGT and the transgender and targeting kids. I'm very, very much against it, of course, as you can
As you
probably
should be.
imagine, as I should be,
Yeah.
as anybody should be.
Yeah.
However, I think that particular instance is like it muddies the water
Yeah.
because once you figure out that that's something someone can be on the registry for, then you wonder how many on the registry just did something like that and it wasn't even targeting children, or it wasn't even like nefarious, or it wasn't exploiting or anything like that. It was just simply that, and that always bugged me, just because I personally experienced it with my buddy, who he wasn't doing anything nefarious. It was completely consensual. He's actually still dating this girl. They both moved to
Nice.
Japan together. And but if he ever goes to fly, like whenever he comes to visit in the US, um he's he has to go through a lot of hoops with the airline, because he's on that registry list. So,
Yeah.
and it was all because of that one thing that happened way back when. And his record's completely clean. Like he doesn't do drugs, he doesn't do any of that. But I feel like that's something that needs to be made, maybe not legal, but not as cut and dry as they do it. So, how about you? Did you think of something?
Yeah, actually, because that story reminded me of something that happened to me when I was 13.
Oh,
So yeah,
oh,
the area.
that doesn't sound good, actually.
Yeah, like
Okay.
it doesn't sound good, but it's not nearly as bad as you're thinking. But it's one of those things where you're 13, you're with your buddies, you're obviously like going around, walking around because you obviously ain't got a
Yeah.
car or whatever. You're
Yeah,
just doing
you're
shit.
just shit. You're just shitty little kids doing shit. Yeah, I did the
Yeah,
same
like
thing.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like we're under this bridge that has like train tracks on it, or under or go above it or whatever. We're under that. We're just chilling, right?
Oh yeah,
And well, I needed to piss, so I pissed in a bush, and it's
that's new.
like yeah, it's like 10. It's like 10 o'clock at night. No one else is around. Like no one cares. But it turns out there was just a cop on the other side.
Oh
So he was, yeah,
no.
it was actually insane. And he had come up to it was like he had come up to us, and it was just like, so who's over here peeing? And well, I'm 13. I'm not lying, especially to a police officer. I
Right.
was like, yeah, it's me. And he was like, all right, well, first off, you guys shouldn't be here, and you can't be pissing in public because that'll put you on the sex offender registry. And I'm like, really? That has nothing to do with sex. And it's like, well, yeah, that's
Exactly.
just how.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's just how it works. That's just how it works. So look, the rule doesn't really make a heck of a whole lot of sense, but that's just what happens. So and he was really cool about it because he was just like, yeah, get home. I don't want to see you again. I'm like, you know what, valid. I'm going home. So yeah, and I'd probably have to in the same vein of you, and what happened there needs to be on a case by case basis. Because like, picture if I was on that list from something I did when I was 13 and I'm 30 now,
Yeah.
like brother, I would hate to have to explain that I peed on a bush, bro.
Me and my close gaming friends did we did some shit in high school, that yeah, we had basically the cops at the school for it, because they thought we were adults doing it, and we were just
Mm,
kids being kids, with a similar vein. I'm not going to get into this story. This is for another day, but I very much relate to to that story, because I too was a shitty little bastard when I was a teenager. So I definitely get it. And yeah, I think it should be more a case by case, and not so much a broad brush in that case. As much as I hate pedos and sex offenders, the actual ones, and both on men and women's side, I think women are actually a bigger block than everybody thinks. But it's just more accepted. But that's a talk for another day as well. Um, but yeah, I think in that case, that giving that a broad brush does a huge disservice to the actual offenders. And that definitely needs to be at least looked at, or addressed. Um,
yeah,
but there's so many other problems going on right now. Like, hey, we got bigger issues. It's cool. I get it. So
yeah.
okay. Well, that was good yap. I'm sorry the stream dropped, but we got it back on. I'll cut and paste and put apart these videos. I'm going to put it on YouTube. I'll link you in it. For anybody still watching, thank you for joining. This was a lot of fun. I hope you guys had a blast. And if you could please give me a follow. We're going to be doing this every Friday. And please, please, please give the wonderful Jigz here a follow. Is Jigz the Plague Doctor? He's typed in chat as well. I think you tagged us on Twitter. So yeah, follow him on Twitter. Follow him on Kick. I think he's on Twitch as well. In your and YouTube, and you're also trying to get up on Rumble, as am I. So follow him on there. Rumble is kind of a silly platform, so you have to follow both him and his his streaming channel, which is the same thing, but they both need follows. So please support him, and please.
Hey, it's midnight. Yes, I am. I am everywhere.
Hey, welcome to midnight. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, it's the person that I'm interviewing is her.
Oh, hey, welcome in. So
that's crazy. Small world.
So yeah, please follow everybody. Please support it. And if anybody is interested in coming on the show like this on my show or on Jigz's show, which he will be doing here in 54 minutes? Yeah, about an hour. Please get a hold of us. My DMs are open.
I was about to say midnight. Yeah. You should get on this guy's show. It's great.
Yeah. My DMs are always open, and if you have anything you want to talk about, if you just want to shoot the shit, if you want to debate on something and yell at each other and scream slurs, or if you have something going on in your life you need help with, it could be literally anything. I have no limits on what to talk about. I'm more than happy to. I'm sure Jigz is as well with his stuff, and so
very true.
Yeah, give us some support and come have some fun. So, but yeah, I'm gonna end it there. And do you have any last words? I'll give you a few sentences. Say something inspirational.
Inspirational?
Yeah, inspirational. Yeah, something that we can put on a tombstone or something, or like a sign on a bridge.
Everything that I could think of is probably not safe for work, but yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, say it. Fuck it.
Well, yeah, heavy are the hips that wear the strap in a lesbian relationship. So.
Very, very wise words. All right. Good. Wise words. We're gonna call it there. Thank you for coming by. I really appreciate you. And stay in touch, okay? Like, don't be a stranger, brother.
All right, cool. I gotta have you on my show at some point, but I gotta figure out how to put you in the schedule.
Yeah. I mean, I'm free on Mondays and I work weekends. Every other day I'm doing bullshit, but I can always adjust it. So just pick a day, and I'm more than happy to. I do have some family coming to town next week, so next week's pretty fucked. But after that, yeah.
I'm booked for like the next 2 weeks, but don't worry. Well, yeah, I want to try to set everything up at least like 2 weeks in advance, so I'm not like blindsided. Also, midnight, you're not gonna get me banned. Trust me. You should see the things that I have said on stream. Like, if you think the clips that I have on my Twitch are crazy, all the moments in between them, yeah. Oh my god, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, I don't want to take too much time. This was great. Give everyone a follow, all that good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna follow Kay here, and I'm probably gonna put you on my second monitor here because I have some shop work to do. But I'm gonna listen in on you guys as well. So,
all right,
cool. All right. Well, bye. Bye. It was fun. Man. Yeah. Fuck you. That's right. I won the debate. I won. Bye.